Now you see, when we first started the kit we use section, there was one piece in it which I was really looking forward to, and it has to be this. It's just brilliant. This adds a new perspective to things, and this is a completely different ball game. And I even went out and bought this, which is the 3D goggles for it. But what that means is I can actually be there, up there. Brilliant! So when it came to drones, I'm sure you're aware there are loads out there, in fact a myriad of drones that you can pick and choose. From things that don't cost very much money, very small drones, about this sort of size, all the way up to filmmaking drones which cost hundreds of thousands of pounds. Obviously we can't afford those, so we just come all the way back down to something sensible, and then we're left with options. Now, I had to make a lot of decisions based on research I did, and that came up with a few features and functions that a drone must have in order for it to be useful. Now, I told Fiona this is one way of differentiating our videos to other people by having drone footage. I think that's what I told to sell it to her, but anyway, there we go. But we ended up having a few features and functions that we had to have inside our drone. Now, the first thing that it must have, it must be able to take decent quality 4K footage. Not all drones did that, so that got rid of a few of them. Then we can get rid of a few more by not having something called GPS, which is the ability to triangulation, if you like, with multiple triangulation devices like GPS in your car. It knows exactly where you are on the road at all times. Not all drones had that, which means you could fly into trees and God knows what, because it didn't know where you were. Now, another thing that it must be able to have, in my view, was sensors around it, so that it wouldn't actually fly into obstacles like trees, power lines, or whatever it happened to be. It would be able to see them. And in fact, you could even take it one stage further. If it knew that that obstacle was there, why wouldn't it be able to fly under it or over it or around it? So it needed to have both of those. Now it also needed to have a really good battery life, because a lot of them only last 5-10 minutes. Not a lot of good to me. So we made the plunge, bought the drone, as you can see in the middle there, and above that something called a Fly More kit, which will give us the additional batteries that we need, and also below that some additional care for the product for 1 year. Excited, here we go. Where to start? Actually, it's well packed, I have to say. They packed it really well. So this slides in half. There you go, top and bottom. We have the actual helicopter itself, or the drone, and the control panel, which your smartphone with control goes in there. And these two boxes no doubt contain lots of different cables. Now, this one has got a charging device on it. Next thing is we'll get the controller out, and that's quite a well made piece of kit that feels like. Got the wheels, one's for, I know for the gimbal tilt up and down, that's for charging the device here, but also for plugging in to your connect to that. Open this box up, take the sticker off. And these two will then pop out. And this will be for connection to, there's a lighting connection already in there, so the other in the back cable's lighting. Those ones first, they go out, then they go down around, then they go down around. This is the Fly More kit, so you probably only get one, well you do only get one battery, because this is the entire setup. There's a picture lock on the back of what you're going to get. I look some more blades as evident. Well, obviously I might need some more, who knows. And there's the charging station, there's the two additional batteries. We can also charge via a cigarette lighter from the car as well. I think when Fiona and I use this, it would be somewhat superb with all this kit. What do you think? So, what I thought I'd show you is we'll just get this off the table. This has a takeoff mode, and it will just hover at 4 feet and stop there. And because it's got sensors all around it, there will be alarms that shows on my phone. Now, the only downside to this is you have to take the covers off in order to fit it on. Okay, here we go. You won't need to see my face ID. So there's an app called DJI app. So I'll just turn that on. By the way, I bought this because not everywhere is nice and flat for takeoff. So you can peg this down to the ground and away you go. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, let me just stand back a bit. We both have to come back. You can see the camera is actually showing both of us. But it's ready to go. GPS it says on here. Remember I spoke about one of the provisos that we had is a GPS. This one, even though we're in a conservatory, is picking up GPS, and it's picking up 13 satellites. So it knows exactly where that thing is. And you can see the two sensors on it already that it's found as well, which is good. And now what I can do is, this is the little takeoff thing. I just press that button. This is how easy it is. This goes up to 4 feet and stops, and that includes what's on the floor. So it goes to about head height. As you can see, it's got some little lights on it to start with anyway. What I can do is I can turn the thing around with the joystick on the right hand side here. But there is an obstacle that is seen on here. Obstacle avoided, revised route, and it's probably up. It won't let me go up because it knows there is something above. Well, there is, it's called roof. So there's not much I can do with this. Same with front and back, it will just stop me doing that. So even when you bring it down, it will then stop and check that it's safe for it to land. Watch. Goes down so far, stops, checks, and down. Now there is another feature, now that it's turned off, is this return to home, which I find really useful. So when you're out and about flying and you just want to bring the thing back, and you don't want to do all the flying back and all that stuff, you just press the return to home button and it will come back and it will land exactly where it took off from. So I can set it for sunny mode, it does its white balance. I can set it for dark mode, so it makes things brighter as well for me. There's not a lot that this thing doesn't do. Okay, so what you can also see here is that I've actually got it connected to my iPad via the USB port at the bottom. What I was going to show you, because this was slightly bigger, is this button here, which is the active features that this drone also has. Things like active track, so you know, whilst it's flying, put it on the tow car and caravan as it's pulling along, and then be able to track it and all sorts. The other one is point of interest as well, so you can select a particular point of interest and then it will fly around and focus on that particular item, which is good as well. And also, as you can see, I can operate this. Yeah, I can move the gimbal up and down. There we go. In fact, what I'll do is let me just take it off for active track mode, put the recording on so I can wave to you and you can see it coming out the camera itself. Now the weather outside is actually okay, and as this only goes up to 4 feet, I can take this out and set it all up. So there's the rather plump fat guy sat down there with his 3D goggles on, setting everything up and getting ready for Fiona to go and switch the drone on. This is Go Vision, this is not on GPS yet, so we'll just wait until it is on GPS.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
That says GPS now because I can see that in here. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting this up for head tracking, so not head flight.
Okay, what are you going to do now?
Right, and now I'm going to take off. Now what you can see, this is typically a two-man job where you got somebody on the controller controlling the aircraft and its flight and all the rest of it, while somebody's sat with the 3D headset on, maybe can just controlling the gimbal to be able to look around when you're out and about. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you this. Fiona will pop into the scene in a second with our other camera showing the gimbal moving, and then we'll show you the same thing again but from the viewpoint of the actual drone itself. I've not had a chance to play with it all because I only got it in September. Obviously bad weather stopped me flying in December, and now we're in lockdown, so you know, all these things are coming.
Of course, we should point out to you that you can't just go out and buy a drone without having certain qualifications and licenses, because the law changed last year. Isn't that right, Steve?
Yes, you probably saw it all over the news. So in November, I think it was the 5th, when they came out with rules and regulations, there was an exam that you had to pass. Now actually it wasn't too bad. It only cost £9 and it lasts for the whole year. The exam though the certification is in 2 parts, because you have an operator license which only lasts for 1 year, so that's the one that costs £9, and then you have a flying license, to which both you and I have got that, but that lasts 3 years and that is free, but you still have to take the same exam, but it's only 20 questions, all multiple choice, and I think it was quite easy, wasn't it? Really?
It's important though, because you can't just go flying a drone anywhere. There are issues around privacy and it being dangerous in certain places, so you do need to take the tests in the UK. Don't know what the rules are in other places in the world, so don't just go out and buy a drone and think you can fly it around anywhere. You have to exercise caution.
No, there are rules, like where you can fly and how close you can fly to, and if there's things in the way, pylons, and if you're near an airport you can't fly it there at all. There's things you have to be aware of.
And equally, talking to be aware of, please don't think for 1 second I'm not aware of the way Steve tries to get around buying more gadgets and gizmos, like buying a drone and then buying a bag of stuff to go with the drone, because we definitely need that, and believe it or not, then buying yet another bag, because the bag that he bought the extra stuff in is not quite right, and even now he's talking about buying yet another bag.
Yeah, but no, I need to fit all the photo stuff. I did one bag, I just don't want to carry too much stuff around. I'll eventually have a trolley, and you can see behind me they got that big light as well. That's not small, is it?
Yeah, I don't know where that blooming light appeared from, but this is the story of my life, as our regular subscribers will know.
But overall though, I was right in saying that it does add some value to our videos, isn't it? They are different because you've seen that in some of the ones we've done already. It does add a whole new perspective. I know the VR headset 3D thing is a bit of a nice to have for me, but hey, there's got to be some benefits to this.
Oh, there's always benefits for you when it comes to extra tech. Yeah, the drone footage means that you just get a really lovely angle. You can see lovely sights from different, we can't get up there. So it's brilliant to be able to see caravan sites, places of interest from height. What we would have called in TV a top shot, but obviously a really big top shot if it is illegal for you to do so. So yeah, it definitely adds an extra dimension, gives us another camera to mess around with, and Steve, just another reason to buy a shed load more gadgets.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Well, that's it for this one. We hope you found it useful, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell. Thank you.